This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com. Raw did a 0.50 rating this week for their go-home show to their Bash at Berlin, which I don't think anyone expects Kevin Owens to beat Cody Rhodes at. By the way, WWE announced they're going to do a Raw in Saudi Arabia in 2024, just after Crown Jewel, for anyone that cares. Batista says his loss to Triple H at WrestleMania 35 was his last match ever, and he's not going to wrestle again. He's doing great in the movies. It would be interesting if AEW would have made him an offer he couldn't refuse. About is WWE allegedly, some people are saying that one of the executives, Mark Shapiro, said they might be moving the Performance Center to Vegas, where the UFC headquarters and the UFC Performance Center is. In theory, that would make sense because Vegas is one of the cheapest cities to fly out of. And from November till mid-spring, supposedly, they're going to be doing a renovation to the Apex Arena at the UFC Performance Center, which is also the UFC headquarters. So it's going to hold, instead of like 500 people, it's going to hold 1,000 people, which would look a lot better for NXT tapings. I don't know if, I would imagine they probably own the property that the Performance Center is on now. They could always have two. I mean, the one thing I will mention is there hasn't been one wrestler from NXT to reach the level of a Roman Reigns. There just hasn't been. Roman Reigns was from FCW. Prior to that, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was from OVW and also trained with Brad Ragans a bit in Minnesota. John Cena was from Rick Bassman, my good buddies, UPW and OVW. I mean, that's just a fact. NXT has not produced any megastar that's transcended wrestling. The whole system of hiring people with no experience just doesn't work. I mean, there are some wrestlers. I would never put Kevin Owens on a megastar level at all, but he is one of the top 10 guys in WWE, top 15, top 10. But he'd been wrestling since like the late 90s. For people like Jacques Rougeau in Quebec, CZW, Ring of Honor. So like there really hasn't been any NXT stars. Some people are denying that they are moving, but it would make sense to at least have some type of WWE training center. I mean, personally, what they could do is like have the better ones that are actually on NXT TV, maybe in Las Vegas, and the other ones in Orlando, I don't know. But it does seem to me like Vegas, from my experience buying flights, is always one of the cheapest cities to fly people out of. So if you're going to have a lot of your talent based in one place, to me, it would make more sense. Dana White was asked about it, and he said it's none of his business what goes on in WWE. Shawn Michaels is overseeing NXT, yes. Someone that says the chicks do better. I know Rhea Ripley. I think she started, and she wasn't someone with no experience. I believe she wrestled in Australia before WWE, but she's probably the biggest one from NXT so far. But your average person on the street doesn't know who Rhea Ripley is. That might change 10 years from now. But I believe Becky Lynch, I believe she was pre-Performance Center days. I could be wrong on that. But either way, Roman Reigns is the last real guy and he never made it as big as John Cena yet to this point, because he hasn't really he's done a few movies here and there, but no real roles in movies that people seriously watch, like John Cena, Batista, and The Rock. And I'm not taking anything away from Roman Reigns. I'm just saying that it might be good to have some different trainers and different ways of training, because when you had the best wrestlers was the time where they were taking the best stars out of the top.